Yeah, I did. So you translate properly. All of it, I guess. So we'll take anything. Oh, I don't know. So we want to use the eastern part. So the western part that you can train on to all of the world attention is a big trick. That's a goal. Try to
circles. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. First. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 10, 1, 2, first, 2, 6, 7, circles. 2, 3, reverse. 2, 3, 8. Right. Stretch. Just punching. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Middle block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. High block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Low block punch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Middle block. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. High block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. High. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. First. It's breathing. I'm going fast today because he said. Shoulder kicks. Front kick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Push. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Push. Heel kick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Push. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Good. Okay, we'll do a weight kick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Push. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Push. Straight leg stretch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, right kick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, good. Stop. Second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. To the other one. This time, step behind. 1, and step in front. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Big. Let's go 20 minutes. Just 6.
She's also working on the broadsword, but
Irina.
So, see the mic's on. Okay, ready? Eyes staring straight ahead. So take it nice and slow. We've been kind of getting more involved with the leg work because the footwork is something that we kind of neglect. But once you get the idea of how the transitions on the leg from substantial and insubstantial and Tai Chi to adjusting our footwork before we, that's your setup. So your feet are your steering wheels. You know, you steer your feet, they're your tires. So in fact, when you turn, if you turn in this direction, you're going to go there. You turn in this way, you go there. So it's like your steering wheel. If you have your hands like this and you go like this, or you go like this, that's the direction you're headed in. So the compatibility of motion really is tied to how you move your body. Right? So you steer yourself in a direction, then you can track it. If you don't steer yourself in a direction, and then all of a sudden you want to go there, and then it's all like out of control or misaligned, then you can't actually direct your movements correctly. So now, Gung Ji Kun, like all the other forms that we do in Hunga, is pretty dynamic in the beginning. It's stationary to build your geometry of position, accuracy of movement, and then it gets mobile. You start to go through your stances and start to build integration, which happens more in the second half of the form. And you know, sometimes they look at it as, when you're doing a form, you could say it's for warding off multiple opponents because you're going in all these directions. That's just one way of looking at it. It's really a training method to go to different places because the opponent really always faces you, you know. So you have to use that as your reference point. All right, ready? Eyes staring straight ahead, begin. Up. Gung Ji Kun. Right. Okay, all right, deep breathing. So, there's a lot of transitions that need to work on, but so Irina, we're going to use you as a demo to correct. So this will be a learning for everybody, and so let's do this section. We're going to go. Okay, after the dragon. Okay. Okay, so Irina's going to do it. They're going to watch her do this section, and then see what you can spot that might be improved on, and then we're going to show her if she's doing it right or it's acceptable, right? So we're just so it's a good learning. So you're in the so you're there. Oh, let's go from here. 1. Okay. Now, so Rob, watch right, what she's doing. Okay, you're in your horse stance, and we're in the corner back fist, right? Okay, then your next move. You step up, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that first move like that, anybody see anything that might be misinterpreted or might not be? So Rob, what do you think? What's the first thing she should do when she steps out? Right. First mistake, if it's considered a mistake, would be. Yeah. You see anything that she did might have been?
The most, from my angle, the most obvious thing I saw was bringing it back, so this hand's supposed to come out to the waist, not just both hands here.
Yeah, you would say that. So did she do that? What did she do?
I saw both hands. I saw the hands here
Okay.
instead of the back hand here.
Okay, how about John? Did you see anything there? Okay, Kim, do you see anything? See anything that's most obvious? Okay, so actually, I'll point it out so that actually Stephen saw what when you're in a corner back fist, when you step and you get the hand comes in this way. So what Irina had done was she came in here and then she went like this, so she came in this way. So that's not that's a transition thing that maybe when you're learning the sequence. So a lot of times when you're learning sequence, you go through the motions, but then you don't review that enough to know the difference. So when hands go in like this, they're merging towards your center, right? When hands go out, they're going outward. So when we have different postures, when we transition from one posture to the next, it's designed to do something on a functional side, right? So if we're in the corner back fist, actually do the corner back fist one more time from that position. Yeah, so your elbow should be a little back like that. So your elbow should be behind you a little bit. Everyone has a little trouble with that one, but after the corner back fist, you come to center, you open your stance, you shift your weight, and then you bring your leg here. Now your body turns and sinks the elbow, right? And then you go to dragon. Okay. Now the next move after this, after you did all those, let's turn and then do the next motion, right? Okay, turn. We'll watch Irina do it. Okay. Oh, stay there though. Yeah. So when you're in your stance and you turn, you're going to pass through horse stance, right? This adjusts a little. Then you're going to pass through your horse stance and turn to here, and then sink in your stance. Yeah. So sometimes when we're doing this, this is a mistake that a mistake in the sense that when you're first learning it, it's sequential, and then you do what you think you see. But as you evolve, your first goal is to get your hands here. That's when you learn a sequence. You're not thinking of the legs, you're not thinking of the body. But when you transition out like this, this would be sinking your elbow. So you want to sink your elbow and create the posture. And then when you do that again, right, your body should be here. See? So your shoulder should be turned more. Yeah, like Rob. See how Rob's position is? Yeah. Okay, do it. Yeah. So when you're here, when you turn here, so your hip closes here. So this is, now this leg becomes stable. If you leave it open, then you really can't find your position because it's this. So the back leg is a truss, but it's actually not, there's not a whole lot going on there because all the power is here. And the reason this doesn't need to have a whole lot of strength is because it's going to go to here. And then you shift and then you come to here again. See? So the shifting of weight really, it's a pass-through. Right? Shifting a weight is to unweight, to move that unweighted leg. Now in Tai Chi they have these reference points, and even in Kung Fu, you say, well, the stance is 70-30, 80-20, 90-10. Those are just sort of numbers they throw out. Nobody really measures that. But the reality is, in Wu style Tai Chi, we only think of not those interim weight distribution. It's really 0 and 100. 0 and 100 is really where your strength is. Because when you're here, then actually it becomes 0 because how can you move this? Right? So the goal is to get your leg able to support 100% of your weight. That becomes a weight-bearing exercise, and also because now your stability is in this leg. So that's just a concept. When you go into a stance and you pull back, it's called a suspended stance. It can have weight, it can have a little bit, it could have, but it shouldn't have much because all of it is here. This is the leg that's working. Right? So once you get to there, okay, do that again, right? We're here, turn. We go through the dragon claw. After the dragon claw, we shift, then we turn. Right? But when we turn, we tie the body, you have to do this. Turn your body this way to this way. Now every time you go like this, you sink and sink. Sink. So the sinking and rising, the elbow is tied to the knees. You open and you close. You open and you close. So that's expand and contract. But you have to be able to feel your position. So right now, when you do that again, right, do it again. So actually, you should be here. Because this is here. Then do the other side. Yeah, so that one's open. Right? So you're here. Right? 1, 2. Now when my body's here and I step up, it stays there and then it turns like this. Then we're here. Now we turn a little bit, twist the back here. So when we sit back, we just turn our body like this. Then the power comes from this corner to here. See, this is the body mechanics to create the natural strength. So in your stance, and your toe should be here, right, a little wider. Now sink down and fold here on the back leg, yeah. And your hand should be here, like this, yeah. Right. Then you take your step forward, right, right, and then shift. So you can take your step, kick, lift, lift, turn. Your body has to go through those transitions because it's a phase. Stroke, step, turn, fold, lift, turn. You have to preset every position before you do your final execution. So, one, should be long. Yeah, like that. If you go like this, it's not, the force is not here. Yeah, that's be long. Yeah. Because you're always here, fold here. The knee and elbow, the wrist lifting of the body, the turning of this and straightening of this. Right. Those are the phases in the movement. So you can discover this if you understand the geometry of position by doing it over and over again. But it's going to take you a long time because you're really kind of guessing it and getting to the final position. So if you go back to fundamentals, okay, so when you do that, do it again. Yeah. And then you have to lean forward, look, and you see, yeah. So you have to be in the stand. So your strength is here. Yeah. Right. Okay, then, so here. Come in first, and then out. Come back down, come in, and then out. You just can't go like this with the elbow here. The strength comes, it has to come this way, and then this way, and then this way. You have to move right to move left, left to right. That's the Tai Chi, the principle, right? But here, you're like this. Right? One. This way means not move the hand, the body. Turn, turn. That's what the yo. Seong sin yo ma. Yo is that. Okay, do it again. Yeah. Sink. Lift. Sink. Sink here first. Sink here. Then turn. Yeah. So right now you're overturned. Yeah. Turn. Yeah, because here you're still open here. Yeah, so you really don't, you only have to turn to here. Yeah. See, because that's all you need. If you overturn like this, then you really don't have strength. Yeah. So you do it in 2 dimensions. Frontal, sink this arm, turn here. So we're here, right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So, yeah. So still too much arm, right? Sink. Then put your body and the hands merge together. Right? So the body does this. Then you have strength. If you go like this, gets to the same place, but it's not connected. So the body is needing the force. Yeah. Yeah. So then I'll be stronger. The feeling. So you don't need so much strength. You just have to create the action so you have, yeah, that's better. Because a lot of times you say, oh, what's the difference between skill level? So your elbow's too far out. So when you're here, you can't sink like this. You have to sink here. So you go down and merge and then finish. Because when you sink here, your body actually comes forward a little bit. Because if you left your body vertical and you sit like this is strong, this is weak, you see. So you need to find your Sanda here. So now you have strength in this direction as well. Whereas if you go like this, you're pulling the strength to yourself and your body is not in a good position. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sink straight. Sort of trying to sink straight.
But this is a leaning stance.
Ah.
The other one is a suspended stance.
Ah.
So different stances. Because you're here,
Next time, well, yes.
and then here. But if you're here, and you go like this, then you created this, which is not going to be good for your stance. Because this is your like this. Yeah, yeah. So they're different. Every posture is different, you know. But so it has to do with the stance. Yeah. So not all movements are created equal. They have to be differentiated. So. And then next, yeah, go. And then next. And then next. And then next. And then next. Yeah. So you see how he dropped his elbows before he pushed? When you're here, then you sink. The sinking becomes part of your body merging to the front. And then the leg becomes part of your push, you see. Yeah. So what happens when you sink, right? Okay. So if you add a slight minute adjustment to your this, right? So Stephen, when you're like this, right? And you're going to sink, right? When you drop and you sink, right? Do that again, right? And then you sink, right? So you sink and push, right? So now add this component right here, and you're there. Go back, right? When it's here, when you sink. No, just rotate, right? Like, yeah, see? Sun, sun, at the same time. So what happens like this, right? My hand is here, right? On this side, underneath. When I sink, so I'm sinking, but I'm also creating that action. So that happens when you cross the hands. Right? So that's a sinking and a turning. So when we're here, you sink, and that's how you intercept. But it also dissipates, and then you can push. See, so this part of it, right? We're here, we're open, open, here. So it redirects it. So though it has multiple folds. It's not just here and here. Those are A and B, but that's your transition, right? So when the hand goes from horizontal to vertical, the hand in here is turning, right? Open. Right? When you're here, it's turning. Yeah. So that's a sparring in here. The back of the wrist, the corner, yeah. So you intercept here, and then without here. So what I'm doing is I'm leading it that way. So this is like a shoulder height cutting hand, because when the hand is here, and I'm here, and I'm here, and I'm here, see. That's what sink your elbow, relax the shoulder is. Ching jiao su ban de bao. Sink the elbow, relax the shoulder. Put your hand in the position for the push. Yeah. Don't lean too far back. You're actually here. You lean here. If you lean like this, don't go away. you're here, right? And don't forget the backhand. The backhand. This. Yeah. So you break it into two phases. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then when you're here, this hand goes wham. This hand goes wham. Then uppercut, boom. Hup. Hook. Yeah. And then elbows. Now, yeah. So Irene doesn't know the elbow. Okay, so I'll do the elbows for Irene so that she can see after the uppercut. Yeah. So I'll just point out some elbow. Okay, now pause. So elbow should always go toward the center. And then you notice when he covers, do the cover hand. That tracks together. You see how he did that? That's actually the way it should be. Now in your elbow position, see that? Yeah, this is like this. No, like this. The hand is facing sideways like this toward the ear, not like this. If you turn like that, just like that, and this should be closed. If your hand is straight like this, then your elbow will want to veer off. Wait. So when you turn your hand like this, the elbow goes toward the center. So your hand should be like this. Then this hand, when you cup it, is alongside like this. See, so when you cover one, this loaded up here, and then it comes like this. Because I'm turned more here. Yeah, so if you turn more, that gives you the room. If you don't turn, it seems like your hands are together. So you're here. You have to turn more. And then the knee comes forward more. Yeah, like that. When you turn, now your nose goes to here, and your hand goes like this. And then you claw here. So you would be holding my elbow, or holding, right, and then elbowing. So it's like this. Or the wrist. So it's an elbow. Okay, so the elbow, cover, grab, elbow. See, every time you form a hand position, there's a configuration there. That configuration is mimicking what you should be doing with that hand. So if the hand is here and you go like this and you have this part of your hand, that's the tiger's mouth. It's holding the arm and this is coming up, right? And the power comes from the lift. So when you take your movement, cover, step, horse stance, open the stance, open the stance first. Oh no, not there. I mean here. You're here. Step, cover, and then come up like this and lift into that corner. So this is still in line. Yeah. So he's here. Because once you turn more, you have, if you don't turn, then the hand's going to be here. Yeah. So that, yeah, see how, like, so when you don't turn enough, then, yeah. Okay, go. Okay, so these are little things, but that's what creates the imagery for the form and the technique. Yeah. So let's do the next movement after that when you stomp. Okay. Yes, Irene, you do a stomp, stomp, turn. Yeah. Okay. So Justin, do that. Do that move, right? Elbow slowly, slowly. Yeah. Don't rush. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So there should be another cutting hand there. Do a cutting hand there too. Yeah. So when you stomp. Yeah. And then do the next one. Yeah. So the front foot, the first foot should have been a hook stance, right? So you step this way. After you cut, right, you step, you're going to hook this way. That's one of the few times you do that. This is if you're going to do a butterfly, right? You're going to step. You want to someone's coming this way, so you sidestep this way and you sidestep this way. Right? This is also a way of sidestepping. You know, turning the corner. So you turn this way, right? You shift here, right? Turn, turn. So you're moving around this way. That's the footwork. So you wouldn't do this because you're not close enough now. Because you're here. Right? So your goal is to hook here as a step a little toward this way. Yeah. So if you do the hands and feet together, it feels much better. See? You see what I mean?
That's more like transition.
Yeah. It's a
transition, right?
it's a transition. It's a
Because this is coming this way.
yeah. Yeah. So but the power part of this is this.
Right, it's transition.
Yeah. So this is, see, they call sembi, right, to avoid. So when he punches, I'm coming this way. No, yeah, so I'm coming this way, and then coming this way. So this is this side. The other side is this. Yeah. So this one is turning this way. In the fourth form, we step back this way. So here you step this way and this way. In Fu Hak, you go like this, right? This and then like this. So this is the same. So the suspended butterfly sword, butterfly hands, has that little hook in it. Or you go opposite direction.
So is it better to keep that still a little higher if it was really low? It feels like it was
Yeah, you still stay a little bit higher because you're much more mobile. Yeah.
So in the hook, is somebody going to go the back leg or is more front?
When you hook,
After you completed the hook, is your weight still more on the back leg?
yeah, when you hook, it's on this leg. Then when you do this, you bring your weight to the other leg.
So it's just a inside sweep?
Like a sweep, yeah. It's like a sweep.
It's a side step.
Yeah. It's cow gap, right? Yeah. So in Tai Chi, this is the same idea. Anytime you hook your foot is a cow. When you do this, that's a hook. Yeah. So that's a first line of avoiding. You go this way. If you're here, you go this way. So this one is training you to go opposite. This one is training you to go opposite. So what are you training? You're training your waist. You're training your leg. So upper-lower coordination is that idea. So without the upper-lower coordination, it's only your arm. Right? So that's, right. Yeah. Yeah. And then, so that's something, all these ideas you have to practice to get your body accustomed to the motion, because that's the only way you can develop it. Okay, so let's just go through that section, then we'll go to the next movement, which is this as a hand move. But this and this is the next two bridges, right? So when you're here, you step to here, and you scoop. You toe out this way, then from here you push. Yeah. So those two positions, yeah, so the first one, right, you're here. You step to here, and you turn. You open the stance, sink your elbow, and push to this side, because the line comes through here. And in this position, Your elbows should be shorter here, like this.
This is very more for people kicking outside, right?
It's, yeah, this is, you can sweep like this. Yeah, like this, but then, yeah, or hand. It might be, it might be this too, like you punch this way, right? No, on the other side. It's this. So you're coming, this could be a block here, a sweep here. You could block this hand and come for the next hand. And this is the position, right, this is this position. Then if you punch, this is this position. Now when this comes here, it's that. So what you're doing is 1, 2, 3. Then you're hit. Yeah. So this, and this is 3 movements.
So this, even people side kick, roundhouse kick, just taking it all off.
Yeah, with that. 1, 2. But this is there, this is there. So all the geometry positions, the bridge work, your positions, this is low, this is higher, and you know, these are middle. So that your hand configuration determines how effective movement is. So everything we're doing is, you know, yeah, because look.
I was thinking this is my center.
Yeah. And now you see. Yeah, because it has to do with your front knee and that. So structure, integrity, position is what's lacking in a lot of, you know, other students, you know, any school. If they don't teach this, the form is only a sequence. This is what we need to improve on. This, you're preserving this part of it as an art. This is the, you know, the essence of what Gung really has. So this is, you know, the old school teaching. The new school is missing all this. Huh?
I don't think anybody talked about I haven't seen any videos anywhere.
Yeah. Because you know, it's a specialty in its own.
It's a continuous move, right?
Yeah.
So all the little hooking movements, this one and pretty much the lower one, were they born after our style adopted the basic Mantis form, or were they there before?
They were there before. They're different, yeah.
This is from Shaolin Temple.
Yeah.
All
This,
the way.
the sweep, any sweep is opposite. Any sweep is opposite. This one is opposite. This one is opposite. They're always working opposite, right? If you're gonna wrestle, you take someone, you hook, your leg is here, your leg is here. It's opposite. Right? That's how you take down someone, right? So when you're here, right, this leg is supposed to be behind his leg, right? So if he's standing with his right leg forward, right, and I come in here, I'm like this. I'm not using this. I'm using this.
The shoulder. His stance.
Yeah. If I'm here, right, first here, he's this.
Like, oh, it just.
If I just go like this, right? Okay, let's do it slow again.
Okay, do it so.
Because, okay, do it again. This is a movie now.
Okay.
I go. Okay.
Keep dreaming.
But you see the applications there, right? See, well,
Right. Okay, so That's what we're working with, right? So we're here. Then we lift, then this foot turns, then it turns, and it turns. And then we're here. Then your left side, yeah. So left side's it's the same thing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 2. Yeah. And then 3. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, elbow, turn, lift. This lift, we're going to turn. And then here, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, turn, and you end. So there's those things that we go over these sometimes, but we don't always pick up on the. Yeah. So this is on here.
It's not right, is it?
No, this is here.
Oh, not right.
It's on
Right in the
your body.
below the-
So you have this and this as sort of the connections, and then this becomes more solid. Without this, there's really nothing there. Right. This, so you use that as a root. So you're only just using that.
Right.
Yeah.
I see the difference.
Same is the same as before. But you go into horse stance. Yeah. See, when you're here, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 into horse stance. Yeah. And then sit back. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. And that closes the first half. Then the second half is the footwork stuff and the mobile side of it. So, I mean, that's why if you get the transitions in the fist form, it helps the extension of your body with the apparatus. You know, when you have your butterflies and you go like this, and you go like this, and you go like this, that's the same as this and this, right? When you go like this, it's like an uppercut. So, you know, if the body's in the correct position, then your sword will be in the correct position. It's just a function of everything that you do. Yeah. Right. Right. So you do this movement in the 10 images, mok, right, gak, mok. It's like this. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, and they still kind of parallel. Yeah. Yeah. A little shorter. Yeah. And then your wrist can actually, this one can be a little bit bent, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Your wrist, the wrist is called a seal one, right? It has to be softer. Because even though, like in some of the styles, external arts karate, they want you to have a straight wrist. In Kung Fu, it doesn't have to be a straight wrist, depends on what you're doing. When you're here, the wrist can be, because your movement has to be in a direction. So how the hand moves creates the direction of force, and it follows. So the continuity of those movements becomes part of your execution. These are all refinement detail that you have to get the gross movement, and then you get your structure, and then the cycling of the movement. The cycling of the movement becomes the interaction between this, because now you have to find the strength of this and the strength of this, and then you have. So it's not that we don't use strength. We use the correct strength. That's the whole premise of all of this, is trying to learn how to use your strength. Because we all have muscles, we all have bones. How do you manipulate those so that using it correctly, efficiently, without injuring yourself and wearing out or wasting energy in the wrong position. So when you're here, and you're here, and you have that, right? In the IOI form, you have the same motions. Yeah, you have it in footwork. Right? So these positions, once your body learns them, they become muscle memory. It's ingrained in you. So then the accuracy of movement comes from that, because it becomes precise movement, and it looks, and you're treated the same way all the time. See? So a little bit this way, a little more. Yeah, turn more. This, yeah, and then like that. Then your image would be sideways. Yeah, like that. And that foot could be actually back, no, the other way. Yeah, then turn this way. No, this way, your hip. And then drop your elbow here. Yeah. And this is going to be there. And then look here. Yeah, so like that. It's like when people throw the punch like this, it has to be here. So you have to twist here and then form your position or your position. Yeah, like that. That's good. Yeah. A little bit closer here. Sink the elbow. Yeah. Not so tight. Yeah. See, don't use so much here. Put it here. And here. If this comes forward, this comes here, you have strength here, and you sink the elbow. If you pull here, you have strength here, but you lose it there. See what I mean? Because if you just use your bicep to pull your hand in, you don't have your shoulder. When you sink the shoulder, yeah. Yeah. You see, you put your hand on my shoulder here. Then now, and you feel the strength is here. Yeah. So that becomes a structure. See, when you deal with structures, using your skeletal structure to create the correct position, it takes very little effort on the strength side, but it feels very strong. Yeah. So that's a natural strength. So these, we learn everything that we do. We're learning from experience. That's all we can work off of. But the experience is the feedback between your body and your mind and your brain as to what it's discovering and what it's working through to the self-correct, or to find that position that's almost effortless. So this is just part of the course of learning. Yeah. So, when you struggle and you try to find that level of execution where you don't use a lot of strength and you don't waste a lot of energy, but that's something that I've been working throughout my whole career doing this. And I don't, some people say that I don't sweat, right? It's not that I don't sweat, it's just that I'm not, one of the reasons we sweat is to remove heat. One of the reasons why we produce heat is because we're using energy. It's like your car, when your engine's on, you're burning fuel, you're burning fuel and you're producing heat. It goes out the exhaust. Well, your body exhausts it and it controls the temperature by producing heat, and you sweat. So sweating is a natural mechanism. So, everybody's a little bit different, but then, how do you don't waste energy is to use less of it. So, that's why I teach all these classes all day long. I should be pretty burnt out at the end of the day, right? Like this morning, I don't know, I taught several classes. And so it is just conserving energy. And, it doesn't make me eat any more than I need to, but I still eat, because you need nutrients. But, your metabolism becomes much more balanced in a sense. And exercise is what controls your metabolism. And why does it control your metabolism? It's because you're using energy on the cellular level that causes you to burn fuel. And the fuel is from the food or intake, or takes fuel from your storages, and your storages is generally body fat. It uses that for energy. If it has something else to burn, it uses that first. So that's why your metabolism changes if you exercise. If you don't exercise, your metabolism actually will slow down because it's not using it. And then when it's not using it, your body thinks it needs to store more because it becomes inefficient. So that's why exercise is important. Not just this form of exercise. They tell everybody exercises because of that. To build so you can control your metabolism so it works a certain way. But there's efficiency there too. So let's go to Fook Fu, the second half of the form. And I'll point out some things as you go through it, because otherwise I'll just keep talking. Okay, ready? Go. So all the turning and all that, those are all your, sort of fighting techniques because they start to cover a lot. So that's why Honga has both your training side and then your transitional side, where you have a lot of punches, combination of movements. Elbow, a striking palm, and this is really a combination of movements, right? So then, why we can build efficiency in these movements because we're not using excessive tension. So if your elbow, you just free fall here, lift, and then use your body to set up the transitions. It makes it more efficient. And it's efficient because you're not wasting it on one side. So remember, horse to leaning is always important. And then when we're in the stance, you don't have to move the front foot a lot as far as pivoting. It just has to, if it needs to adjust a little just for the hip position, you just sink into that. So that's good, yeah. Getting your hip to close. So, yeah. So when your hip closes, it's like this, right? It's closing. Here, there's a crease here, it folds. And when it folds, that's settling into your stance. Yeah, that's a closing, and the opposite of closing is opening, right? Shift and then close. So that's how the hip closes and opens. That's passive closing. Active closing is that. So the balance between opening and closing becomes a relationship, right? So the whole body is a relationship. We don't look at it as, it's a relationship. Both the upper and the lower is a relationship. The right and left is a relationship. Your inside and outside is a relationship. Your mind and your body is a relationship. So all those relationships have to work together. If they're all working separately, then there isn't harmony in the body, right? So what goes, breath and movement is a relationship, right? Expand and contract is a relationship. The body opening and closing is really controlling your breath. Because this area has to expand and contract, and your diaphragm moves up and down. It changes the size and the volume of the space. That creates inhalation, exhalation. So you can regulate your breathing because this area is really controlled in some way, but it's happening part of movement. So when we do the iron wire form, we're doing any of the Tai Chi, we're expanding, deep breathing, inhale, exhale, rise and fall, open and close. Everything is involved in expansion and contraction. So, it's unique to what we do, but it's all there. It's just trying to understand it, and then you know from the understanding why it's critical to do things a certain way. It just can't just randomly do it. You have to do it methodically and organized and systematized. So everything we talk about actually supports everything that we're doing. Although sometimes when we go through it, it's all separate until you experience enough, and then through your discovery you start to recognize a lot more. So I think we have a lot of people here that are, over 50 years old. So we probably have one of the schools that have a lot of veteran practitioners. Still not a lot of people because, this type of thing is sort of a niche thing, but because people don't see the value in this because it takes so much effort to gain anything from it. But if you started early and you spent the first 20 years just getting the physical side out of it, then the next phase of it, you have a big advantage over people that are just starting out, especially people in their 60s or 70s. It's very hard for them to discover this thing because they don't have the time to go through that. So you have to teach them, accordingly. So the Tai Chi paradigms exercises is really a condensed version of what they would be getting learning Tai Chi without that for 20 years. So all this stuff that we're doing is actually, when we talk about positions and positions and positions, it's already formatted there for you. That's why it's really important to build the skeletal structure stuff that we're talking about. And hopefully that's some of the ideas I would get across there, yeah. So I'm going to do 5 images breathing, because we do that one. Irina doesn't know this, so Irina, you can practice your sword. Yeah, yeah. Okay, ready? Begin. Hup. Inhale, exhale. Remember, 1 breath, 1 inhalation, 1 exhalation. Okay, then step out, and you might as well do the first half. 1, 2, 3. Sink. Kick. Okay, and close. Good, close. Yeah. All right, deep breathing. So yesterday, a lot of you, some of you weren't here, but the Yihimon system, the Grandmaster has he applied for a registry in China to get Yihimon recognized as the traditional arts, because he had, his dad had a sort of that genealogy of the people that studied with him, and so it was just approved, I think yesterday or a couple of days ago. So he sent me the thing. I think it's on, they translated, they're gonna probably put it on the website, but it's so, my teacher was 5th generation and I'm 6th generation. So any of the students that following me would be 7th generation. So it's part of that, the family tree per se. So we,
So is Kuen in between, like, Lamzhou and you, or is it?
no, Lamzhou is not part of this, because no, this is Yihimon. It's only, See, Mudang Yehimon, they're all separate systems, and they all have a grandmaster and they all have a founding. So my teacher learned from a person named Ngumlo, which is a disciple of Marak San. Marak San is the picture up on the top corner there. His son Hansen Ma is the reigning grandmaster, just like Anthony is the grandmaster of the Hunga. So his son brought it back. He has 3 brothers. Those 3 brothers all practice. Only Hansen brought it back. Hansen's probably in his early 60s. So he's an engineer, civil engineer. That's what he did for most of his career. 10 years ago, he resurrected the Yehimon system because no one was really teaching it except for, he was dabbling in it, and some of the people that learned during that 4th generation, pretty elderly, even my teacher's teachers is in his 80s. So, they didn't have schools or anything. They shut it all down because they couldn't make a living doing it, So then his dad, Marak-san, was actually a physician, Chinese physician, Chinese medicine, and he taught a group of people. And then his teacher was a woman. She actually taught because her dad was killed during the Japanese takeover, and he was pretty well known martial arts, studied numerous styles, Chen style, Bagua, Wuhao style, Tai Chi, Yehimon, a bunch of stuff. And he was killed during that invasion, so he left his daughter with the art. So she toured the country making, like in the Chinese movies, making money, just doing performance at villages and stuff like that. And then she met Marak-san, met her, and he became her student, and that's how the history of that came. And so preserving that is something, we'd like to do more of, so that.
So could you send us a list of that tree?
Well, actually, the trees. It's in Chinese. I was getting Sunny to translate it. I don't know these people, but it's like that tree that we have. There was one hanging there. That's the Hunga tree. Yeah, hung it in the other room. But actually, so this one, it's much smaller, but there's groupings, and it comes down. Then on the 4th tier would be Hansen Ma, my teacher, and a bunch of people that I don't know. I never met them. Actually, when I went back to Hong Kong, I met some of them. But I still don't know who they are, because they don't, they just meet just as a courtesy, but none of them really practice much anymore. So in the world, probably I'm the only school that actually teaches it. There's no one else anywhere around in the world that actually teaches. Hansen Ma teaches, but he has pockets of students, and he doesn't have a school. He has an organization, but he rents these like gyms, like studios, dance studios. That's how everybody does it there, because you can't afford a space. So that you rent a room by the hour. That's how they do it. Yeah. So, anyways, want to preserve that style. So Yehimon is, it's like a gem for people that want to learn it back in the day. Even my teacher had to almost beg this person to teach him, and he used to take the subway 45 miles one way and back just to meet up with him, because he ended up as a gardener. He was working in the public gardens, taking care of shrubs and trees and so forth, because he was kind of one of these horticultural people, and he did herbal stuff, so he would know which herbs were good and which trees were growing and plants. I mean, they all got into that. And then, so he didn't want to teach, and then Sifu kept asking, then he befriended him. And then that's how he became his student. And he came to America before he became his disciple. And he went back, became his disciple, and then kept it going. Then I went back and met him after my teacher passed away, to meet him for first. So he was pretty generous because, you know, it was already planted that I was one of his, you know. So I went back several times, spent time with him, and he always spent time with me. So, you know, so we went, I mean, I spent weeks with him. You know, I'd rent a hotel and he would spend all day with me because he didn't work. And, you know, anyways, that's it. We'll bow. Okay, ready? So, you know, it's kind of historical because, you know, I'm a kid born in Boston, not knowing any of this. And after all this, you know, all these teachers that I had no idea who they were, and then I find out like Lam Jo was so famous, all these people, and then I go back and, you know, just meet all these people, get, you know, treated very well, first billing at their banquets, you know, front row seats with the family and stuff. And so, you know, it's quite an experience, you know.
So is that kind of like the Smithsonian of martial arts, or just all the